should be seeing my screen. Yes. The city's public right-of-way, which includes streets, multi-use paths, sidewalks, and alleys, stretches across approximately 1,800 acres, and the engineering department manages the work within and the use of that right-of-way. That management includes work and use by businesses, developers, and utilities, and it also includes capital infrastructure projects to achieve a safe, efficient, equitable, and sustainable transportation system that works for people of all ages and abilities using all modes of transportation. The engineering budget includes 11 full-time equivalent employees, which we divide into a capital project services division and a right-of-way management services division. I'll describe those two divisions in more detail later in this presentation. A few major initiatives of our department include managing use of and work within the right-of-way, addressing transportation-related inquiries from the public, and implementing the city's transportation plan. To provide examples of that last initiative, I've listed just a few recent projects, including the Adams Street project between Kirkwood and Patterson, which constructed new sidewalk and the city's first physically protected bicycle lanes, a project on Bloomfield Road between Landmark and Patterson, which filled in a gap in the multi-use path network and also replaced 2 aging traffic signals, and a project that constructed numerous accessible curb ramps in the downtown area. This slide shows the budget goals as they were listed in the 2020 budget presentations. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about these, but rather than go through each individually, I primarily want to note that we are on track, but still in progress on each of these goals. The current pandemic restrictions have caused most of our public input to move online, and we know that much of the traffic information we collect this year will be atypical, but in general, our work is continuing successfully. Capital Project Services is the division that implements our infrastructure projects. This work includes design, right-of-way acquisition, bidding, and construction oversight of projects. These multimodal projects implement the city's transportation plan and require close coordination with both the Planning and Transportation Department and the Department of Public Works. Goals for this division include prioritizing funding needs in time for the next budget cycle and active management of projects to keep costs of construction change orders within 5% of the bid amount and to keep construction timelines in compliance with contract specifications. We specifically called out completion of the 7-line project in 2021 as a goal, but we will also award more than 10 new contracts in addition to the approximately 30 existing contracts that we are managing. This division averages approximately $6 million in infrastructure expenditures annually, much of which comes from federal funding or other grants. And the final goal for this division relates to completion of a works in progress report to track both funding expenditures and completed assets. The Right-of-Way Management Services Division issues and monitors right-of-way use permits and outdoor seating permits. It investigates and addresses transportation-related inquiries from the public, and it collects and analyzes traffic counts and crash data. This division issues approximately 400 permits annually, and goals for this division include processing at least 90% of permits within 10 business days, as well as inspection of the work completed under at least 90% of those permits. We need this inspection for a number of reasons, but one thing about it that I particularly want to emphasize, and this is true of the work in our capital projects division also, is that these staff positions really do pay for themselves over time. The unfortunate reality is that some contractors will cut corners, and if they are allowed to build things improperly, then they will leave the city with costly future repairs. One of the ways we use our inspectors is to make sure that that doesn't happen. Other goals for this division include investigating at least 90% of view reports within 10 days, collecting traffic counts at least 40 locations, and analyzing crash data to determine trends. This traffic count and crash data covers all modes of transportation, and it helps guide decisions made on project priorities and project designs. This slide shows the total budget request separated by category. I will focus on category 4, capital outlays, because it is the engineering budget category that shows a substantial change from previous years with a decrease of 33%. I want to emphasize that these funds are only a portion of our capital project funds because we also utilize TIF funding, capital funding from other departments, previously approved bond funding, federal funding, and other grants. The funds shown in this budget request will primarily be used for two purposes. The first is to provide the local match necessary to leverage federal funding, and the second is to continue implementation of the transportation plan's high priority bicycle network. As discussed during the previous planning and transportation budget presentation, this chart does not show just the engineering budget. It instead shows the combined values for the planning and transportation and engineering departments to allow for historical comparisons. Overall, the proposed budget for these two departments includes a decrease of 15%. Thank you for your time and consideration of this budget, which we believe aligns with the city's stated goals. To paraphrase from the comprehensive plan, those goals include improving the sustainability of the transportation system, including prioritization of pedestrian, bicycle, public transit, and other non-automotive modes of travel, and maintaining, improving, and expanding transportation networks that are safe, accessible, equitable, and efficient. Thank you again, and I am happy to answer any questions that you have.